Greetings and welcome to Armored Core Requiem, the series where I take on players' submitted builds and optimize them to the best of my abilities. I've been doing this for a while now, and so far my upgrades have not disappointed. The process goes like this. I take on a player's submitted build, upgrade it live on stream for any viewer as well as the creator of the build themselves to add any input before the final verdict. And then I do this, I make the video discussing the original gameplay of the build as well as all the upgrade decisions, and then do a final PvP test to determine which variant is superior. So if you have a build you would like me to take a look at, you can leave a comment with the build information and or share code, depending on if you're on Xbox, and yeah, I'll give it the good old Requiem treatment. However, if you want a faster result, you can find the link in the description below to the Xbox Fight Club Discord, or you can go to the Requiem workshop and post your build information there. There I'll get back to you much quicker with the upgraded variant, however I will not be giving it the YouTube treatment of going over every single change. You can ask questions and we can have a more personal, private conversation about the build's upgrades in case you don't want the build to be public, or you just want a quicker result without all of the bells and whistles of the video. But yes, all is said, I appreciate you all, have a good one, and enjoy the video. Greetings and welcome back. So yeah, for the usual, we got two builds to take a look at. Both were upgraded on stream yesterday, so let's get into it. For our first build, we have a medium-ranged, focused kite light build. For the weapons, we have the assault rifle Tanner, a very solid choice for constant fire, kiting capabilities, mainly just medium range, doing decent damage, but really just keeping up constant stagger. And then second, a burst machine gun Istujin, which is very good for close range stagger buildup. Again, decent damage, but mainly just stagger with its burst. Super good for close range stagger buildup, similar to the Viento, or really any other machine gun like the Ludlow, which of course doesn't really pair with our medium-ranged assault rifle. And for shoulder mounts, we have the Balaam Duo 02. These missiles are like the combination of split and vertical missiles, in that they do split off and come from two different directions at the same time, which is great. But they do come from up on high, which is not particularly great, because you can just kind of dodge forward and immediately they will just overshoot. Super bad at close range, as they again just kind of overshoot, but medium to far range is pretty solid. And then lastly, we have vertical missile launchers. Vertical missile launchers are just not it. They're decent for PvE, big opponents, but in PvP, all you need to do is just move to one side, preferably towards your enemy anyway, and you're going to be dodging these missiles. They're just not that great. They're only good as a type of stagger punish in a way, where if they're staggered to staying still, obviously they're going to get hit. Vertical missiles tend to do some decent damage, but they're just not very consistent. And for parts, we have the Mine Beta Head, which has the highest aptitude stability contribution. The Albacore, very good for lighter builds, while remaining some good stats in terms of defenses. The Knockrier Arms, for their max firearm specialization, meaning our shots will land a lot more often, helping our FCS's tracking. And lastly, Knockrier Legs, for the near reverse joint. They're bipedal, but they have high jump distance and height, which is great. Stability is a little low, which definitely makes the Mine Beta Head that much more necessary. But yeah, very good for light, fast builds like this. For inner parts, for the booster, it has the SPD, a very good booster for kiting builds, as its normal thrust and the weight is very nice, allowing you to get up to very fast speeds. We're currently at 370, which is a super good speed threshold. Most BVOs and long or fast ranged kite builds love this type of speed because it is indeed very, very fast and allows you to outpace most opponents by just moving instead of relying on boosts and assault boosting. And for FCS, the PO5, the max medium range assist. And for generator, the Coral Gen, for our buttload of capacity and a decent weight. As well as paired with legs like reverse joint, where you can have high jump distances. You can run the gen out and then jump into the air, and preferably, or most likely, you'll regenerate all your stamina while airborne, which is very, very good. And expansion, Pulse Hammer. Now when it comes to the flow of this build, very standard kite stuff to stay further than 130 meters of your enemy, and you'll be in your effective range. Fire at missiles whenever you can, and yeah, use your machine guns. Only thing is about this current build setup is we do have a close range weapon and a medium range weapon. And yeah, the recoil does not exactly favor us a lot. A lot of bullets go off trail because these weapons recoil, not pairing well with each other, and the arm's overall amount of recoil control. So yeah, we got a really good close range weapon and a decent medium to close range weapon, and both do not pair exactly right. You get too far and you're going to start to see a lot of ricochet, plus the loss in accuracy from both weapons. But yeah, that is the main gist of the build. Let's go over what we in the chat consider to be Requiem.
これがレクイエム
And here we are, Requiem. For the weapons, I ended up changing out the Tanner for the slightly slower but stronger Scudder, and I'll be pairing it with the Rensetsu RF, another great ranged weapon. This one has a much slower fire rate, but does a lot more damage, and due to its slow fire rate and ammo capacity, the combination of these weapons will result in pretty much non-stop staggering and non-stop pressure upon the enemy, keeping that stagger meter up. And yeah, getting some good kiting out of it. And for shoulder mounts, just switched both shoulders to the non-vertical plasma missile launchers, the VVC 703 PM. These come back super quick, have great tracking and detonation range, and will lend ourselves to being able to build up lots of consistent stagger on our enemy as we kite them down and whittle them down to their last breath. For parts, keeping the Mind Beta head for the stability contribution, Melander C3 core for its great stats, as well as fitting the 370 speed threshold. Same deal with the arms, as well as it has enough recoil control to handle our weapons. And going with the strongest legs for our speed as well, allowing us to also hover quite consistently with the Alba legs. Keeping the SPD booster for the same reasons. Switching FCS to the Talbot, as our arms will help us get over the threshold when it comes to firearm spec, and honestly, being in these ranges of close to medium range is definitely going to be the ranges we're going to be in, and allows us to have much more opportunities of success. At least that's what I found in my practice with kiting builds. And for generator, going with the Hakushi for its great stats, and mainly its capacity and regeneration. This is a super good gen if you can run it for sure. And keeping expansion pulse armor. And yeah, main flow of this build is very similar, although a little more consistent. Just fire up missiles and yeah, spray your guns. You can hold down for the Scudder and just spam for the Rensetsu. Rensetsu does have a charged attack, but it's not that necessary. So you just keep spamming the trigger on one and holding down the other, and you're chilling. Yeah, this is the build. It's original and Requiem. We'll go over to the next build, and then finally we'll do the PvP test. Alrighty, for our next build, we have a close range, a high stagger, chainsaw punishing build. For the weapons, we have the linear rifle Harris. Pretty solid normal shots. Very slow, but still very strong. But its charge attack is really where it shines. Even with half of the first stagger meter built up, one charge attack will more than likely proc stagger on most ACs. And next up, the Double Trouble Chainsaw, the mainstay of the build. Super good stagger punish. Very heavy, so it doesn't fit on most like BVO builds, but if you can run it at a decent speed, it is very strong and very worth it. Its charge attack on direct hit adjustment is insane, which chances are one-tap most builds, similar to the Pile Bunker. And for the shoulder weapons, we have dual spread bazooka Morleys. These used to be a lot stronger when the game first came out, have since then been pretty nerfed. They're like shotgun bazookas. You need to be very close to get a lot of value. Even at, though, like, even barrel stuffing range, if the enemy has enough distance out of their dodge, chances are they'll dodge most of it when they get fired. Again, they are a telegraph, they are bazookas. But they're pretty solid for building up to that initial stagger that the Harris can capitalize off of, so they're not too bad, but they're quite heavy, quite costly, and not as good as they used to be. And for the parts, nothing crazy specific other than the Bastio arms for max melee spec, which will scale with the chainsaw's punish. For the booster, we actually have the, I think, heaviest, but it has max melee attack thrust, which means you'll get a lot more distance out of your melee strikes. For FCS, the Ocellus, as that is the range we will be in. Generator Coral Gen, very good for rushdown builds, as you can just keep going without worrying about your gen. Using on a melee builds can be a little rough, as using any melee action resets the cooldown or resets the recharge time of your generator. So if you run it out and then use a melee, it's going to reset that 4-second cooldown until you get your energy back, but it is a small price to pay for salvation. And expansion Pulse Armor. Alrighty, the main flow of this build is, again, pretty simple. Get close, use the Morleys to build up a lot of stagger, and then finish off with the Harris, and then move in with the charged chainsaw. And that is it. Pretty simple, pretty cool. Very aggressive indeed. But yeah, this is this build. Let's get on to Requiem. And here we are, Requiem. For the weapons, I ended up switching out the Harris for the Viento, a super good close range, constant stagger building up weapon, keeping the chainsaw, and I ended up switching out the Morleys for the Javelin Beta, which is a super good weapon. Probably will receive a nerf, I think, in the next patch, but we'll see. Its tracking is great because it goes out to the side. Usually it will go around objects to receive or to get to its target. Even at a close range, it will not overshoot. It will kind of just spin around and then detonate. It's super good. High stagger buildup for sure, and great tracking. And then next we have the Explosive Thrower, another melee weapon that does not scale with melee spec because it has its own ammo, not cooling. But yeah, this weapon is nuts. It has 2 attacks, horizontal and vertical. Vertical goes a little further, and it is charged, so it's a little slower. Honestly, just spam the normal one in most cases. But yeah, its reload is super fast, and its stagger buildup is also quite mighty. Damage is pretty decent too. Ended up changing the parts up for more stability and overall AP and defenses, keeping the Bastio arms for the same reasons. And with this new assortment of parts, we are obtaining greater stats as well as great speed. Our defenses and speed are up by quite the bit. We're at 330 speed, or technically 340, but 330 is the threshold we're hitting, which is very, very solid for this type of rushdown build. And for inner parts, we have the Alula booster, also super good for rushdown builds, as its assault boost is very, very high. Its overall stats are very solid. And yeah, it's decently light. For FCS, keeping the Ocellus as that is our range. Switching the gen to Hakushi for its natural great regen and capacity. And expansion pulse armor. Alrighty, the flow of this build is similar but not quite the same. We just fire out the Javelin Beta, get close, spam the Vento whenever we can, use the Explosive Thrower to proc stagger, and yeah, Chainsaw. It's very much a double melee build with the Viento and Javelin for stagger support. But yeah, this is the Requiem build. I'll now see who I can get on for a PvP test to see if the upgrades are indeed superior. Alrighty, I got my good old buddy Shattered. He's a big help on this Requiem series of late, indubitably. He is a comic if you want to go check it out. I hear that the first one is nearly done. So yeah, go check out his work and follow him there. I'll have his links in the description for Instagram, Tumblr, and all that cool stuff. But yeah, enjoy the fights. He will be piloting the original variants. I will be piloting Requiem. Germona. We got the smallest map in the game, or second.
Is it the smallest? It's one of the more bigger ones.
You're right, you're right.
More midweight? I don't know.
Oh god.
What the fuck is that like? What?
Yeah,
Holy
you seen
shit.
that? It's my new technique, you see.
What was Master Lag no Jutsu?
You're using that Katara. Die, 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 die. There's a kick. T.
You're just doing more damage than me with your assault rifles.
You're right, you're right. Yeah, this is just a kite battle of attrition.
Yeah, and you're winning the battle with attrition because you do more damage.
You are correction.
Oh,
barely.
cock.
The last little bull I got through. Yeah, kiting's not my preferred playstyle for sure, but it is a playstyle.
That's from 1,000 cuts.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the main problem with this build. It doesn't have the requisite dagger build up.
You're right, you're
That
right.
build up so slow. Just gonna get out DPS. You have thermal armor that thing, or soul armor, don't you?
Hey man, we'll find out one day. I would not run terminal armor, that's for sure. Not on something like this.
Thermal isn't like that bad, yeah.
It's really good for super high DPS builds, but something like this I wouldn't.
Yeah.
This can't turn the tide within the 5 seconds. Chances are it'll just get, I mean, you can do something within the 5 seconds, but not enough.
There it is.
Here.
Oh. Wabadoo.
Death by 10 billion cuts. That's Island.
Asylum, old favorite.
Legitimately. Yes, get her gone.
Yeah. You're probably maxing out your EN, aren't you? Doesn't really matter because you're probably using coral.
Nearly. Oh, I thought I could dodge it. I thought you wouldn't be able to get it, honestly. Thought you'd be able to dodge that, guess not.
Didn't made that.
Me neither, at all. What? I pressed the bumper 6 times. What the fuck was that?
I didn't hit you. Oh.
No, sir. Dude. Oh, just barely. What do you mean? Ah. Tell me a chance that's rough.
Fuck.
I meant to feint it. Why? Why? I literally pressed the bumper like 6 times, please. Alright. That was odd. That looked like that would hit. No, I would not be better stuff today.
Damn it.
Just normal chance. Yeah, I feel like the chances does come out quick enough for type of stagger off of this weapon anyway. Or maybe I'm just not used to it.
Yeah, I'm a bit more used to it.
No! Yeah, it's going for the chainsaw is a detriment with this setup.
Let me do that. Fuck.
Nice way to reach. But it did.
God damn it, won't make melee cancel with it. Like,
yeah, I know,
reliably.
right? I do that all. It's happened to me like 6 times as well. I have
God,
energy,
that
but it's just not. I think the just.
The fucking melee canceling is gonna be killed because like I think with the chainsaw I can't reliably melee cancel out of it.
That's what happened to me in the first round. Oh. Yeah, didn't get too much value out of the chainsaw, but like, yeah. At the same time, I might get another chainsaw build, so it's rough, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Definitely gotta use the Viento to finish off the stagger.
Chainsaw is so much more punishing. You fucked it up.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, and that is it for this video. If you have any builds you want me to take a look at, feel free to leave a comment. I'll be sure to do a stream next week, preferably always on Monday. From here forward, anyway. Links to the Xbox Fight Club Discord will be in the description of this video, as per usual, as well as the Armor Core subreddit. A link will also be in there if you are interested in that. But yeah, I appreciate all of you for watching. All is said, y'all have yourself a very good one. I'll catch you in the next one, probably in Reforged. Peace out for now.